say? Should I say him? Or should I not change the word?
Okay, so you are asking if you work on a man, and should you use this prayer that we just learned in the Pasha meditation?
No, it was her. Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
So, okay. Yeah, so that's a good question. So we're now in the third class of Emunahealing Course 1, Part 2. And the question is, we've just been learning about the special healing prayer that Moshe prayed for Miriam when she was afflicted by Tzaraat. And these are only 5 words, El na refa na la. And so it means, God, please, heal her. And I want to say, to answer the question, what if you want to heal a man? Should you still say the word her? And I want to say yes, because these are the words from the Torah, exactly how they are. And I'll give you an example, because once you use the word from the Torah and they have the numeral value that's exact, this is connect, as we mentioned, that the numerical value of these words is Eheye Asher Eheye, I'll be that I'll be, which is the name of God. That has a very powerful name of God. And if you start changing the words of the Torah, then you're going to be losing that powerful effect. And I'll give you an example. I was in someone's house that he did the blessing of the children who were not present. There's a special minhag custom that a father and sometimes also a mother or grandmother gives the blessing to the children Friday night, right around Kiddush time, right after Kiddush, blessing them with the Birkat Kohanim, Yevarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Hashem panav elecha v'chuneka, Yisa Hashem panav elecha v'yisem lecha shalom. So these are words that we learned about and meditated on last week in Parshas Naso. And I heard this man, he was blessing all of the children that were not present in one blessing. And then he says, Yevarechechem Hashem v'yishmerechem. May Hashem bless you, plural, and may He guard you, plural. He changed the cha to chem, because He's giving a blessing for all of the children. And I went over to him afterwards and said I didn't think it was a good idea, even though I understood why he did it that way, because he's blessing a whole group of children, and there were 10 children. But since the powerfulness, and I've been learning about this in spiritual healing, of the Birkat Kohanim, the power of that prayer is the way it's written in the Torah, and therefore it's important to keep it that way. And he was not so happy when I said that to him. No, I'm doing it my way. Okay. But next time I was in that house for Shabbat, I noticed the change. So you have to not be afraid to say what you believe and what you know to be truth. Even maybe some people will take a bit offense, but maybe in the long run it will help them. Okay, so I'd like to call on any of you, and please put your camera if you can. I'm unmuting all of you to any comment, questions, or like sharing with me about the homework that you did, sharing with the rest of the group, any experience you had in spiritual healing. And we did have some homework last time. You may have to remind me what the homework was. Okay, do we have anyone? Do we have anyone that would like to share with us? Lisa, you look like you'd like to.
So I think for me, the biggest thing was I practiced a lot. I don't work with clients, so I work with my family. But one of the things that I practiced a lot was clearing Keter for me, just throughout the day while I was washing dishes, or just to keep my mind elevated to spiritual healing. Because
were you clearing? Say again, clearing what?
Keter.
Clearing. Oh, that's what we did last time. Clearing
Right.
the reserve. That's
If
right.
I was very, or if my son would have symptoms that really make me nervous, I would do that. And then I would also bring the light to that area. So I found it very helpful. If there wasn't, but I think the biggest thing that I'm learning is to be elevated in the way I think of healing to a spiritual, because I get very, what I deal with brings me very, I call it 3D. It brings me very much into the physical realm. And so it's been very good for me to learn to elevate that to the spiritual realm.
Well, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, Lisa. I appreciate it. What about Ella? Do you have anything to share? I unmuted you from my side. You have to unmute yourself. Oh, no, maybe not. Now I'm unmuting you. Ella, can you come to the camera, please?
Uh-oh.
I'm putting you on the spot. What about you, Anna?
I'm using a lot of the material you taught us. I'm actually open up the channels for each of my clients, and I'm cleaning my kettle all the time, and I see a lot of blockages. I'm removing it from myself. If I'm tired, I'm using the small prayer to make myself on the page 4, to make myself, clear and not tired. And I'm praying. If I'm doing all my tools, I feel I need to pray. I'm praying. I'm using your prayers. On the page 6, I believe it's a little bit for blockages for tshuva. I still not good with Hebrew. Another one I do in Hebrew. This one I do in English, and I feel a power anyway. So it's very helpful for me. It's amazing.
Oh, Hashem, thank you. And you can also, what I do a lot, because actually I only know the basic prayer by heart, and of course the opening of the channels, but I don't really know the prayer, the tshuva by heart. And a lot of times when I'm healing, I can't, I don't find it comfortable to be looking at the booklet. So what I do a lot with my clients is with the energy ball, I just use the Shema Israel. I don't even say the whole long thing that I learned from my teacher, because based on my own research, I learned that saying the Shema Israel with the energy ball is like very powerful, because Shema Israel has the power to expel all negativity, and it works really good with the energy ball. And actually, I'm planning to ask my teacher what she thinks about it. And I'm pretty sure that she would think it's a good idea. It's a good shortcut, and especially for people who have a hard time with the Hebrew. But most people do know the Shema.
Yeah, and after the Shema, the hands are going by itself. It's so strange. My hands are going to towards each other by itself. It's very amazing feeling.
That's the beautiful thing about this exercise, that when you can feel it, that when you say Shema Israel, it gives the power, and you can feel it, that it expels the negativity that we want to expel through this energy ball exercise. So welcome, Evgenia and Bracha. It's wonderful to see you. I'm going to look here at the chat. Ella, do not have a camera, no microphone today. Oh, too bad. I worked a lot and it's very powerful. Okay. No microphone even. Okay. Well, it's good to see you here. And as much as people can participate with the camera and mic, it makes it easier for me to teach, because otherwise I'm just looking at my own face on the screen and checking how many wrinkles I have as I'm teaching. So I prefer looking at you. It's more inspiring for me. So today we're now learning a new teaching which is called matching of resonance. And this, with that teaching, it will also take us to learning about allergy. Okay, so I love this. This is so simple and it's so powerful. So this matching of resonance. First of all, I have to explain what is resonance. Everybody, we learned about how we all have auras surrounding us, and there's 7 auras corresponding to the 7 energy centers. And so, but the way, the vibration of these auras, that's our resonance. And you know, people, they'll talk about, I like this person's energy, or I don't like his energy or her energy. That's how people talk today in modern New Age language. And so it's really connected with the resonance. It's connected with the way the person is vibrating. Their spiritual body is vibrating. They could be saying the same thing and, you know, but two people can be similar in many ways, say the same things, even the same, even tone of voice, but one, you connect more with their energy than the other person. And that has to do with the vibration of their resonance. And so my teacher explains it, just like we have different shapes of heads, eye color, body height, etc. So each person is different also energetically. We have different resonances. And what does that mean? So in Hebrew, it's called, I'm teaching you also the words in Hebrew, just because those of you who want to say everything in Hebrew, it's a little bit more powerful. And resonance in Hebrew is a tedal, but you can say it in English. And so it's the kind of light which emanates from a person. It's the movement of the aura, like the vibration. Some people, their light moves in stripes, like this. It's not something most people can see, but you get a feeling of it. Some other people, it's more like a soft woolen kind of way. And some in spurts. That's maybe a more nervous type. And others in like the waves of the sea. So I think like with my hand movements, I'm showing you that the concept, the idea of the different vibrations of a person's resonance. Does this make sense to people? Yes. Okay. Okay, so for example, and this actually happened to me today, some people have a resonance that just doesn't work with technical things. And one of those people are me. I got a little bit better, but it's still very challenging for me. A lot of times, like when it's something I've done a lot of times, like the Zoom, you know, virtual classroom here, and I gotten used to it. So Baruch Hashem, like I got better, but like I have to say, Hashem, please don't give me any tests and challenges in that. I feel like utterly powerless and helpless when it comes, especially to new technical things. And like I'm the kind of person, I'll look at something technical and it will stop working. It will just simply break. And I, for example, my husband, he'll come in the room and you know, I'll ask him, can you please help me, you know, this isn't working and that isn't working. He comes in like, what's wrong? I don't see anything wrong here. And everything is just fixed, just from his presence in the room. Okay, so this has to do with our resonance. Some people's resonance, I just don't resonate good with computers and other kind of, what do you call it, energetic, magnetic, whatever it's called, technological kind of device things. And some people resonate with it so well. And I have an example from today. Today I gave a class that's in my school that's called Kabbalistic Insights on hair covering for married women. And I had with it a PowerPoint presentation. And yeah, I sent Lisa the PowerPoint presentation. But when I give the class, I teach together with the PowerPoint. I can't just send it to the people that are in the class, which I know how to do, but I have like a pocket projector. I have to get it from my iPad. I have to get the pocket projector to read it from my iPad, and I don't use it so often because like most of my classes don't have PowerPoint presentations. So today I was like, oh no, like it's not reading the iPad. Please, what should I do? How am I going to get this to work? And then one student, she just like touched it with her finger, just one thing on the iPad, and then I read it, iPad. I said, oh, what did you do? What did you do? Nothing, absolutely nothing. And so it was just her energy that was good, her vibration, her resonance that the iPad liked. And so it worked, and I was able to give my class with the PowerPoint, and I was very thankful to Hashem, and it worked perfectly fine. Okay, so let's see. So there's also other people who have like a problem that whatever they are wearing or not wearing, they go through the airport, what do you call it, security checkup, everything is beeping for them. And it's just like something to do with their resonance. Some people, like their watch will always like not keep the right time. Their watch just keep, like they get a new watch, again, it's not keeping the right time. It has to do with the resonance that the watch is receiving from the energy of the person that's wearing the watch. So what happens is, and this concept is very similar to, some people have a green thumb. Whatever they do with plants, it does well. The plants thrive through them. Like other people can do exactly the same. You can ask that person, what did you do? How is your roses so beautiful? Oh, I give them this fertilizer and I'm watering in this way and then this time. And so you could do the same exact thing, but not everybody will have the same result. Plants are very sensitive to resonance. Of everything has a resonance, not just people. Everything alive has a resonance. So animals and plants also have a resonance. I believe even the inanimate have, but a more like quiet resonance, like an inanimate object that doesn't change or move. It has like a very solid kind of resonance. But everything has a resonance because everything is kind of moving and changing. Even inanimate things, they do change after time, just more slowly. And that change is affecting their resonance, and the resonance is reflecting that change. So we learned in the past about the forgiveness of the neshama. We asked forgiveness, like the right hand is you, and the left hand is the person that we want to forgive or receive forgiveness from. And we learn how to do that. Slicha, 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 machul, machul, machul. Slicha, 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 machul, machul, machul. I'm doing it quick because this was a quick review. But when you do that between two people, you can also do it surrogately for two other people, not your client and someone that they want to forgive. When you do that, the resonance between those two people that are forgiving and asking forgiveness from each other, the resonance between them is now becoming more matched. Okay, so this is what we're learning. A matching of resonances. If there's someone's energy and resonance that I don't really click with so well, I can do something to match the resonance. And in any kind of therapy that we're going to learn in one of the upcoming classes about relationship therapy, including couple therapy, we use the matching of resonance, because that's usually the last step in any kind of relationship therapy. We match the resonance, and that can help people get along with each other on an energetic level. It's not enough. And in order to match the resonance, we have to ask first, am I 100% open to accept that person? Is she 100% open to accept me? and is the connection between ourselves 100% open. And so before we try an exercise with this, we need to first opening the channels, which we're supposed to do every class in the beginning. Okay, so you look at the first booklet in page number, let's see, page number 8. Okay, for those who don't know it by heart, page number 8. And now we're going to open the channels so that we can actually practice all of this. The matching of resonance. We need to have open channels for anything we do in spiritual healing. That's the first thing I always do before, in the beginning of a treatment. Bracha is saying, late but listening. Okay, fine. Yes, I understand. Okay. Okay, thanks for letting us know, Bracha, and welcome. Okay, so we're ready to open the channels. I like to do it all together, so I'm going to unmute. If you see yourself on the screen before you're actually talking, that means that you have a lot of fun. Okay, you can see who that is. You can also see who it is background noise. Mute under the background. That would be really wonderful. Is everyone unmuted? Yeah, I think now everyone is. I did my part to unmute everyone. Anna, you have to unmute yourself. Maybe you can't. I don't know. I keep unmuting you and still muted. I don't know why. Okay, so I'm saying it slowly in Hebrew, and so that everyone will be able to follow. You can do it simultaneously in English. Yeshuat.
Yeshuat, Hashem,
Ein.
Hashem Yehor Ein El Astot, Yeshuat Hashem, Yehor Ein El Astot,
Yeshuat.
Yeshuat Hashem, Yehor Ein Al Akuli Hatahor,
Yeshuat.
Hashem, Yehor Ein Al Hatahor.
Everybody. Shiviti Hashem.
Shaviti Hashem, Legiti Tamid.
Tamid. Shiviti Hashem.
Hashem, Tamid.
Tamid. L'Shem Yichud
Yehud,
Ushchintei Klal Yisrael. Harek מקבל אליי מצוות של אהבת לרעך כמוך.
ואהבתם לחך כמוך.
אני מבקשת להיות שליחה להביא ריפוי השם. I'm asking to be an emissary to bring in Hashem's healing. אני מבקשת שכולנו נהיה כלי לקבל everything should be the sake of heaven, pure. Okay, at least everyone should do the last part. If you don't have the booklet in front of you or for whatever reason, just do that. Everything should be for the sake of heaven, pure. How to open the channels. Okay, and so now we go back to the teaching about the matching of resonance. Okay, so I'd like to ask everyone to think about someone that you like to match your resonance with. I'm gonna mute everybody. Just so there won't be any background noise. And hi, welcome Karen, and welcome Jolie. So excited to have you all here, and if you can show your camera, I love it. And thank you, Evgenia and Lisa, for showing your camera, and Bracha, because it helps me a lot. And just that, Bracha, we only see your head again, and sometimes your eyes. You have to get Yeah, that's much better. Thank you. Okay, so I gave everyone a little time to think about someone that you would like to match your resonance with. So it could either be someone that you're already close with, you want to be closer, or it could be someone that you have a hard time with. If you choose someone that you have a hard time with, then there's more work here and it'll be more interesting, and it'll be easier for you to notice if there is a difference. Okay, so as you choose that, you put your hands like this, and then you ask, am I 100% open to accept that person? And then see what comes up for you. I'll be right back with you. Okay? Okay, so did anyone want to share? Anyone want to share if you got anything? And you can share who you buddy that you did. Well, I didn't get to do it because Racha, you want to? It'd be really amazing if before next class you could find out what's this background noise by you. But Racha, you would like to share something?
I have background noise.
Yes, you do.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Is that better?
Yeah, keep going. I don't know.
Yeah.
When you see yourself and you're not talking, it means that there's a noise. Okay, like I said before. Okay, when you come to focus on the camera. Do you want to share with us now who you chose and what you got? Am I 100% open to accept her? Or him? You're thinking about the person while you imagine that person, you visualize that person, or you say out the name of the person as you ask the question. Okay, so I'm gonna share me, okay? So I took, well, she's not gonna watch this, so I can be honest with you. This is very personal, okay? So I took my daughter-in-law and I asked, am I 100% open to accept her? And I got a clear no. Okay, I've been talking about working on getting the yes and no answers, even though something that can be limiting when we focus too much on the yes and no answers, because we want to get more general answers sometimes, like what's blocking me from being 100% open to accept her. So we shouldn't focus too much on yes and no, but once in a while we do use it, and everyone has to find their own sign that's for them, yes or no. Whatever you choose, like there are people who use Pendulum. It seems also, Karen, that you have also background noise because we saw your name there. So that people use the pendulum and they choose what is yes, if it goes around or if it goes back and forth. But my teacher really says it's much, much better for two reasons. To use an internal sign in your body, as we talked about this before, this review. This is like something really important because it's going to be with you all through your Emunahealing. And it could take some time until everyone gets that answer, yes or no. Like my answer, yes, is like a kind of a sound behind my eyes. I can't really explain it, but it's like I can hear it. It's a sound I always had since I was a really, really little child. And I remember when I first discovered it, and I was playing with a doll, and also it could open and close the eyes. And I was telling my babysitter, I have this sound behind my eyes. So she said, oh, it's the doll when the doll opens and closes the eyes. No, it's in me. And I couldn't explain it. I was really little, maybe 3 years old. And since then, sometimes I get that sound. I can make myself hear that sound, like I have to do something like inside. But for me, I chose that as the sign of when it comes spontaneously without myself making me make that sound, then it means yes. And that's what I chose for myself. We talked about if you don't, another way, an easy way to choose if it's open. If like, am I 100% open to accept her? You can put your hands like that and your hands like open. Or if they stay stuck, then it's no. But if they open, it's yes. That's another possibility. But everyone, that's a simple possibility that could work for people who can't find any other sign. And I use that sometimes too for myself. So anyway, so I got a no, okay? And so now, then, what's the next question I have to ask? Excuse me, I'm thinking like that because I don't have time to get enough cups ready.
What are the blockages?
Yeah, what is blocking me from accepting her 100%? Okay, so I don't know. Does anyone else share? And then we could try now to ask the next question if we get a no. If we get a yes, then it's great. Just leave it like that. Would anyone like to share what you got? Yes.
You don't feel she's sensitive.
Oh, you're asking for me. Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't know what you were asking. Sorry.
I'm asking for people to find someone that you can match the resonance with.
Okay.
And then ask first. Everyone has hopefully already asked the first question. Am I 100% open to accept that person? It doesn't have to be a woman, her, him, or. And then whatever answer you get, yes or no. If you get yes, great. If you get no, then we move to the second question. What is blocking me from accepting her 100%? Okay, does anyone want to share? Have you tried this? Karen, welcome. Did you get anything, Karen?
When I asked, it was like, yes, but like not yet. And then when I asked the next question, the thing that came to me was, I'm just not ready to forgive.
You're not ready to forgive.
Yeah.
So maybe sometimes there are some things that take time.
Right.
But you could, what can you do in this case? I'm blocking myself from being ready to forgive. See if there's something you can do to like make it happen a little bit easier, because keeping a grudge and not forgiving
I
it.
got that answer too. It's just something that I haven't finished working out, something I just need to learn.
Okay. Well, that's great. You look like you really know how to apply this technique. That's wonderful.
I have a question. When we're getting our yes and no's, does it always have to be a signal? Because for me, it just comes as a word or what I need. Very clear.
Everyone has a different.
Okay.
It could be a word. It could be like you get the answer yes or the answer no. That's totally, fine. But and you could just get the answer yes. And if you don't get an answer, then it's no. Also, just to make it easier. That on your own. And that's really fine. Like you feel the answer yes. Excellent. One way that based on what's right, but it seems to me that you're very intuitive and that what you're doing is working for you. Okay, so now if we find something that's blocking us, and even if it says we're not ready to forgive, you can still do the prayer on the basic prayer on page, let's see, what page is that? In page 4, and you can add in with the deficiency, the chesron, not being able to forgive. And this can help you, to learn to forgive in a speedy way. And so, but I'm gonna ask everyone now to ask what's blocking you from, if you gotta know, being ready to accept that person. And get an answer, then pray for that answer in a prayer on page number 4. Remember, every time in this workshop, it's really good to come with both of the booklets ready. We need both the first one and the second. If for some reason you've misplaced it and you can't find it, and you need me to email it to you again, I'll do so happily if you let me know in an email. I'm just muting a little bit more. I don't know what this background noise is. So, okay, it went away. Okay, great. It was an echo that of my voice that coming from some of the participants. It happens a lot. Okay, so I'm going to ask for my thing too, if you don't mind. What is blocking me from accepting her, and I'm thinking her name, 100%? And I got something. Okay, and I hope that you did the same thing and you also got something. And now we're going to pray together the basic prayer. אני מבקשת ממך, השם אהבה בלתי מותנית, קבלה ואור אין סופים על, and everyone adds their thing. Well, what you add here is not this, well, I got like that she's controlling. What I add here, when I say it's not that she's controlling, I add my difficulty accepting her being controlling, because it's about me accepting. That's what I want to heal now. It's not that I want to heal her. I want to heal my difficulty accepting her. So I'm giving myself as an example because we didn't really have any volunteers. And so I can always use myself. And so this is very important and it's very hard. It's easy to forget that and just think, oh, we want to heal the other person's problem. No, we want to heal. We're supposed to accept everybody, even with their imperfections. We also have imperfections. A lot of times things that are hard for us to accept is because we have something similar ourselves. Maybe I'm controlling, and therefore it's hard for me to accept someone else being controlling. You know, a lot of times what we have a hard time with is a mirror of what we have to work on ourselves. And whatever it is, we accept ourselves with our own imperfections, hopefully. Well, not everyone accepts themselves, and that's also a problem. We have to learn to accept ourselves, and we have to learn to accept other people, even with their imperfections, just because they're an image of God, and everybody has good sides and less good sides. We still have to accept them. Okay, and the more we accept another person, even with their imperfections, the more they're actually able to overcome those imperfections. And the more we angry at those imperfections and judge them for it, even if it's just in our own head and we don't say anything, the more we're actually making it hard for them to overcome them, because we're like singling it out and pointing a finger. And that's like giving them like, that's kind of like empowering their imperfections by pointing them out and giving them and putting them like on the spot. Okay, so I have to do this again because I stopped in the middle. Is there anyone that has any questions before we do this prayer, or is everyone with me in this? I hope you all have something to pray for here. Are you with me? Yes, okay, people are saying yes. Jolie, there's a book called Focusing that gives a very good explanation on this topic. Okay, I'm going to look at that, Vasant Hashem. Okay, thank you, Jolie. Okay, so now we're doing the prayer again from the beginning, and we get into the chesron, the deficiency. We insert our difficulty of accepting X, whatever it is. Okay, and if we don't know what is blocking us from accepting the person, but we know we have a hard time at blocking, we're having a hard time accepting, we could just say our difficulty accepting X. But let's say in the case of, it was Karen that shared with us, thank you. And so what would you say in that? What would you say, what would you add into in the deficiency here? I have to unmute you.
It's actually just being rigid.
But you have to say,
yeah, on my rigidness.
what would be the deficiency? What you just shared before, actually.
I've been chunking down more on it, and it's actually about being rigid.
It's not what?
Being rigid, inflexible.
But you're already like jumping a step. You don't have to.
I know.
Okay.
Just what happened.
You could put that in my being rigid, or you could put in my difficulty forgiving. Like my not being ready to forgive. You could put in there.
Right.
Because that's what you shared with us before. So you could choose what you want to put in there. Or you could put both. My being rigid and not ready to forgive if you want. So, okay, everyone else, I hope you know what to put in there. So we're doing it now. We're not doing so slow because this is really review. And so we're doing it. Need to can say it in English with me. אני מבקשת ממך, השם, אהבה בלתי מותנית, קבלה כמו אין סופים על תתקן את כל הסיבות והשורשים שגרמו again we insert it the second time in more short. We could just say like accepting that person. בגלגולים קודמים בין החיים ותהפוך אותו למציאות שלמה בצלמך ותמותך תחבר את השלמות אליך. Okay, now we go to the second part. Is she 100% open to accept me? He. So everyone will ask, just like that. Put your hands like this. This is like a way of receiving. Is she 100% open to accept me? If you get a yes, great. If you get a no, ask, what is blocking her from being 100% open to accept me? Okay. So I hope everyone got something. And now we're going to do that prayer for that person. Okay? And this is like actually part of relationship. This is a part of relationship therapy, which we're going to learn more in depth in 2 classes, B'ezrat Hashem. So now I put in the deficiency for me, her feeling judged. That's what I got, what I came up with. So I'm going to put that in. Do you have something, Karen, with the person that you...
I didn't do it yet.
Okay, so I'll wait for people. You know, the more you do it, the quicker the answers come. In the beginning, it could be a slow process. Anyone else who has anything that they want to share or question while we're waiting?
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
Yes.
the other person's lack of their own inflexibility.
The other person is having a hard time accepting you also because?
Just their own inflexibility.
Oh, because she's also inflexibility. Okay, so you see, just like I said, we have the same thing mirrored. The thing that we have a hard time accepting in someone else very often is the same thing they have a hard time accepting in us. Because we often, when we get mirrored our own imperfections, that bothers us. A lot of times, like, people will have all kinds of imperfections and it doesn't bother us. We can accept them. But the things that often, that's my experience, we have a hard time accepting is something that somehow remind us about our own imperfections, whether it's through mirroring our own imperfections or whether it's throwing out a reaction in us that's connected with our own like shortcomings. And that's when it really becomes an emotional thing that bothers us. Makes it okay, so now we're praying for the other person. Everyone please pray with me. אני מבקשת ממך, השם, אהבה בלתי מותנית, קבלה ואור אין סופים, על ותשפה את כל הסיבות והשורשים שגמרו בין בגלגול זה, בין בגלגולים קודמים, בין החיים, ותהפוך אותו למציאות שלמה בצלמך כדמותך, תחבר את השלמות אליך. Okay, so now we get to the third stage, which is the connection between us 100% open. So the way that we practice ask together with asking the question, we can close our eyes and imagine like a string between us and the other person, between me and the other person, and we see what we feel is going on with that string. That could be knots on it, or it could or it can be like a pull. Each person is pulling in each way, like a seesaw pulling, or it could be that something is sitting on a string that's blocking. So I want everyone to try to do that. Let's see, there's some people writing some things. Jolie, you are welcome. Accepting rigidness, my difficult and not being ready to forgive is more compassionate and opening. I think, Jolie, I need you to explain what you're saying. How do I know Evgenia is writing? It's not the mind playing tricks on me, that it's not what I think or want to think. Okay, excellent question, Evgenia. Well, can I ask Jolie to explain? Can I unmute you and ask you to explain? I hope you have ability to speak, because I didn't really understand what you're saying. And then I'll try to address Evgenia's question after that. Are you able to speak, Jolie, or you don't have a mic? It will just help so much if you can explain it. No mic. Okay. So you're saying, okay, my difficulty not being ready to forgive is more compassion and opening. So I don't know what you mean accepting rigidness. So you can write on it, and maybe you can write it a little bit more, explain it, like your comment here. I'm sure it's something very profound. I want to hear it. And meanwhile, while you're writing, I'm going to do my best to answer Evgenia's question. That's pretty clear. And this is a common question that we have in Emunahealing with everything. How do I know it's not the answers that I get are really from Hashem and not just like what I think it would be? And the answer is we don't really know. It could be what you think yourself and that it should be, that what makes sense to you. And therefore, in spiritual healing, sometimes when we treat people, we have no idea, we don't know them, and we have no preconceived notions about what things should be. That's when we really see that that it's really from Hashem, the answers we get. When we have no idea and the answers come to us and it's confirmed by the person that we treat that it's correct, and even when we think the answers don't really make even so much sense and we didn't expect that answer, that's more of a sign that it's really from Hashem. But it could be that an answer that makes sense and that we would have thought of on our own could also be from Hashem. And so we don't really always know. But I mean, anyway, everything is really from Hashem. Even what we think is also, Hashem gives us the ability to think that. So that's also from Hashem. And what we need to do when we do spiritual healing is we need to trust in our ability to get answers from Hashem. Even if maybe we're only getting 50% from Hashem and 50% from our own mind. The more we trust, well, it's all from Hashem, no damage is done that way, then the more we actually will be able to get more and more of the percentage of our answers will be from Hashem. The more we trust, we will, like the law of attraction, we will allow Hashem to give us the answers more. The more we believe in the power of Hashem giving us these answers. And even if you made a mistake and it was really in our own mind and not from Hashem, no big deal. You know, like any kind of therapist that are not a spiritual healer will do this all the time. And it still helps the person. It can still help the person if it's something that makes sense. And maximum, even if it was completely off the wall, it still helps the person. It still, even if it doesn't help the person, nothing terrible it happens if you pray for something that wasn't necessary to pray for. Hashem will forgive that. We're not even saying God's name. So it's really okay. So before I know Bracha had her hand up, but before that, I believe that Anna had her hand up. beforehand.
Yes, yes. I want to ask you, I had an experience which I really need a clear picture about. If I imagine somebody and I got an answer that he's not ready to accept me, and I asked why, and he doesn't want to get closer to me, so he's afraid of it. When I imagine the string, and he was going backwards from me, so he was afraid even to get closer. What should I do with this? Like a scare on his face.
That's what we pray for. So we pray for that. We pray
But
for
I did.
in the basic prayer on page 4. So when we say, I'm asking from you, Hashem, unconditional love, acceptance, and infinite light on her pulling herself away from me, or on her fear of coming close to me. You could do the prayer 2 times, and one time put the one, and one time put the other. And this thing that you're getting, that's what you're praying for. Okay, is that answering you?
Yes. Okay.
And that's very important, because bringing Hashem's unconditional love, His complete acceptance, and His infinite light on this deficiency. This is a very powerful prayer that will help melt away that deficiency. Okay, so before I get to bracha, I want to see what is more on the chat. Karen wrote, the way I know is when I feel neutral, just to accept it as a matter of fact. Like I get it, that's how you know that it's an answer from Hashem, that you feel like a neutral feeling, you don't feel a compulsive feeling about it. Is that what you're saying, Karen? You just feel like you're just being a channel, you're not like pushing your trip about it. I think that's what you mean. Right?
Yeah, just when there's other stuff going on or my triggers are brought up, it's harder to separate that from whatever or however it is I know.
So there's no emotional, there's no like emotional, I forget what's the word you call, like
Baggage. There's no baggage.
emotional,
There's
like
nothing
tension.
stuck.
You get the answer from Hashem, it's just neutral. You're not like, she doesn't accept me because, blah, 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 blah. Like it's just like, oh. You get the answer, you're not emotionally invested in the answer.
It's instantaneous.
Okay, so is that helping you, Evgenia? Yeah? Okay, so now I'm gonna look what Jolie wrote. It's about being clean. Find what we're missing or the other person is missing and pray for it. Peace. Saying the prayer is key. And saying it in English as well is also very helpful until we learn to do it in Hebrew. So yeah. Okay, until it becomes natural. Right. Good. Yeah. I mean, it's great if you know enough Hebrew to learn it by heart, or if you do it in English too. I find it really much better to heal without having to look in a booklet, but it's okay to look in a booklet until you learn it, until you don't have to anymore. It's 100% okay. So, Acha, I know that you want something. So let's get you, Acha. Go ahead. I need to unmute you.
Well, this is pretty simplistic, but a lot of times it's helpful for me because of my own, sometimes lack of trust in, my own abilities, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it's good when I have clients and rely on my old, training from psychotherapy. Sometimes it's really good that I have the feedback from them. And a lot of times I find it's really very helpful because they'll say, or I'll see them the next time and they really look clearer, or they'll write me or call me and they'll say, I really was able to do blank, blank, blank. And I find that, for me, I find that really good feedback.
When you can see if the people that you're working on that you feel there's an opening between you and them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, well, we can actually see, and maybe next time people will share what they experienced with any of these people. Who wrote this prayer? That is my teacher. And it's based on Ramchal, on Rav Chaim Moshe Luzzatto, from the book that's called Derech Hashem in English, The Way of God, chapter 5, and the part that's called the creation, and it's I don't know how to say in English, and it's situations, something like that. But when you read that, The Way of God, you will see, yes, that it's very similar to some things that he's saying. It is really a very special prayer. And that's the one I use all the time. I don't really use the one for, even though I gave it to you with tshuva, as I mentioned, because somehow it's not resonating with me. I'm not able to remember it by heart, and I'm not working for me. I just said Shema Yisrael with the energy ball. Energy ball. Thank you, Jolie. Thank you. Okay, so just the last thing about the string. So imagine the string between you and the other person, and see what you close your eyes and see what you get. I mean, Anna already shared with us, but let's everyone, it takes a little time to get that. Okay, does anyone want to share what they got with the string? And anyone maybe who hasn't shared until now? And don't be shy about it. You learn the best if you can share. Did you get anything, Yevgenia? Who's lost? I have some. What do you mean? I am lost. Help. You didn't get anything, Jolie? In the person you worked with? Is that what you're saying? I'm not sure. Fire. You saw fire on the string between you? No. What we're doing is we're looking at the string that's between us and the other person that we want to match the resonance with. We're looking at the string and with closed eyes, and imagine that there's like a spiritual string between us, and there's different possibilities of what can be on that string. It could be a really, in the end, when it's cleared up, it's just like a beautiful, strong, heavy rope that's balanced, and it's not tight and not too loose. Sometimes the string can be loose, sometimes it can be tight, sometimes it could be a tug of war, sometimes it could be all kind of things sitting on it that needs to be cleared off. Okay, well we'll learn all that more in relationship therapy, but now the main thing is the matching of resonance. We spent like a lot of time on this preliminary part, which we're actually going to learn again when we get into classes, when we get to relationship therapy. So now it's the matching of resonance. Yes, Karen?
Michael, I have a question. How does all this work when you have non-Jewish clients?
I think that, I don't have non-Jewish clients so much. Well, I have sometimes, but most of the non-Jewish clients I have that are interested in Judaism. I think it works in either case, because we are the Jewish healer, and the Jewish healer has the same kind of healing towards, Jews and non-Jews, and even animals. Like Lahaftil, I tried to heal my animals, my chickens, with spiritual healing as well. So it's mainly this kind of healing is for the healer, since you're Jewish, and that's the healing for a Jewish healer, no matter who you're treating. That's the problem. Okay, so let me get to the main thing of today. We already have 1 hour and more than a quarter that before we even get to the main thing here, which is the matching a resonance. Now, everyone who took someone, you have to know there's two different ways of matching resonance. There's the way of matching that's called the simple matching, and there's a way of matching that's called the two-step matching. I will explain. The simple matching is you just say, the simple matching you could do with a married couple or unmarried siblings. So if you're married, or if you have an unmarried sibling, if you're not married, then do that now with me. I'm going to demonstrate how we do it. This is not something I can do with my daughter-in-law, but I'll do it now with my husband. So I take my energy, like I take Chana Bracha Bat Miriam in my right hand, and I take my husband, Michal Chaim Ben Nechama, in my left hand. I face them kind of shoulder distance apart. And then I just have this intention, and I say it, and I verbalize my intention. אני מבקשת התאמת תדרים בין חנה ברכה בת מרים ומיכאל חיים ben Nechama. This meant I asked for the matching of resonance between Chana Bracha's daughter of Miriam and Michal Chaim, son of Nechama. Then I just leave the hands for a minute and just try to really feel the energy between the hands kind of calming down and becoming smooth. And you could do this either with your husband if you're married, or with an unmarried sibling if you're not married. And this, it helps, but this is not like something that is by itself in treatment. That's usually something that ends a treatment after you've done a lot of other work. This is something that kind of supports and strengthening the treatment you've already done. It's not by itself. And that's why I gave you some of the things that we do before we match the resonance. Just doing it by itself will not do that much, but you could. Let's see, you see some kids fighting. I've used it on my grandchildren when I saw them fighting. And I've even used it on my chickens when I saw them fighting. And I asked, please match the energy of this chicken with the existence of that chicken, and that chicken with the existence of this chicken. Because now I'm already, that's a two-step matching, which I'm going to explain now. Lisa, yes, I know. Thank you. Okay, so now the two-step matching is when it's not a husband and wife or unmarried siblings. For example, this can be a patient and her doctor, a teacher and a student, a mother and her daughter-in-law, and a person and her aunt, two people dating, for example. Any kind of two people who are not the immediate relatives, like siblings, when they're married, they're already part of someone else that's not part of the same, blood relatives with their siblings, and therefore their resonance is a two-step resonance. Like if you want to match yourself with your married sibling, it's a two-step resonance as well. And the two-step and two chickens too is a two-step resonance. The two-step resonance is like I match, let's say I'm going to demonstrate with me and my daughter-in-law, because that's the example I've been giving you. And so I match the resonance of Chana Bracha Bat Miriam, that's my name, with the existence of her name. I'm not going to say. I'm thinking it in my head, yeah. And then I wait a little bit like before, and then I do it the other way around. I'm matching her name with the existence of Chana Bracha Bat Miriam. So it's two steps, two times matching. Because it's an indirect kind of matching, because you don't have that direct connection as husband and wife has and unmarried siblings have. And we're going to see there is something else that also can have that direct connection. So that's a two-step matching. So I want to ask everyone to take somebody, maybe the person you've been working about until now, and do this two-step matching. Okay, as we do it now together. You understand existence in Hebrew, metziut, existence of. And you don't have to say the name of the mother if you don't know it. It's an extra thing. You really don't have to say it. I do because I like to say that, but it's not necessary. The main thing is that you really like focusing on that person in your mind as you're saying it, and you feel the energy between you. So let's do that together now. I'm asking for the matching of resonance between and the existence of. I'm asking for the matching of resonance of and the existence of. And it doesn't matter who you take in which hand. You know, you could take yourself in the right hand. I'm used to doing that. But you could take the other person in the right hand and you in the left hand. And then when you reverse the matching, you could switch hands. It doesn't matter. Like if you have yourself first in the right hand, and then when you do the second step, you can move the other person to the right hand. And you can also do this, or you could just leave yourself in the right hand and keep her in the left hand. Or if you do it between two people that are not you, so the same thing, you know, applies there. It doesn't matter. It's open, it's flexible. And that's what I did with my two chickens that were fighting, and I think it helped slightly. My teacher says this thing works for about 4 hours if it's just by itself and not together with other relationship work, then it keeps like for 4 hours. So it can help open up the ability to work out these things in other ways, to have these, at least the resonance matched. Okay, so that, now I explained you two different kinds of matching. The one that's with immediate family, in a simple way, and like between husband and wife and all unmarried siblings. And the second one between ourselves and non-simple matching between ourselves and all different kind of things or people. It can also be the student match me with the material I'm learning. So it'll be easier for me to learn it and remember it. So it's not just people and people. It can be a person and something else. Match me. I'm moving into a new house. I want to match the resonance of this house with my existence. I want to match my resonance with the existence of this new house. So these things are not, it's two-step matching, all of those things. Okay, or let's say a treatment. You're taking a new vitamin, a supplement. I want to match myself with the existence of this vitamin or supplement. I want to match the vitamin supplement with my existence. And this way it can help us absorb that thing that we're taking better. Whatever it is, we, you know, it could be all different kinds of things that we can match, and you can use your creativity and think of more things. Maybe Bracha has another one for us. Go ahead, Bracha.
Sorry, are you using the Uspizin when you're doing this?
So that I'm not up to that yet. So that's just
Yeah.
exactly gonna get up to that now. I'm doing this class really very slow to make sure that it's really very clear. So the third kind of matching is between ourselves and spiritual entities. Well, the truth is my teacher had it as the second kind, and what I already taught you as the third kind, but it really doesn't matter. Okay, that's why you were wondering, because you had that class before. So because she put together the two simple matchings and the two not simple. So here's another simple matching. That's one step, not two. That's you with spiritual entities. You can match yourself with spiritual entities. That's a simple matching, just a one-step matching. Like I can match myself with how I was on my wedding day. Okay, that's a wonderful matching. Or I can match myself with, my spiritual level at the end of Yom Kippur service. Or I could just match myself with my spiritual level with, I can match myself with my spiritual level on Yom Kippur. Or I could be more specific. You say, at the end of the Ne'ilah, the last prayer on Yom Kippur, I want to match myself with the spiritual level I had then. And I can uplift. Everyone, let's try that. So, the spiritual level at the end of Yom Kippur. I'm asking, אני מבקשת התאמת תדרים. I'm asking for the matching of resonance between myself and my spiritual level last Yom Kippur. And see if you feel any more uplifting energy. Okay, so few questions and comments here. Yeah, so that when someone is married, a sibling that's married is no longer have the same closeness to even like a child to the parents. I forgot to say, a child to the parent. This can also be a simple matching until they get married. When a child get married, they're like more part of their spouse's energy, and so they change. They have a different kind of vibration, not the same resonance as unmarried children. They come from the same two parents. They have some similar thing in their resonance, but once they get married, then they share the resonance and they change based on their spouse and the resonance of the spouse and her or his family, etc. So I do believe that, even though I don't have it in my notes, that also parents and unmarried children can be matched, but it's not always beneficial in a one-step matching. Well, I believe it is when they're unmarried. Even though I don't have that in my notes, it seems to me correct. So here, we're now in the match. Does anyone want to share how it felt to match yourself with how you were at the end of Yom Kippur? Did anyone feel anything? And just raise your hands, either with that. Yes, Evgenia, I'm going to unmute you.
Yes, it was wonderful, really.
What did you feel?
Like uplifting.
Yeah, that's what
I really felt like boost of energy.
So like it's very powerful. This is so simple. And you can do that anytime you want to do that. And there's different,
Yes.
things you can match yourself with. But don't match yourself with Hashem. That my teacher gave an example. One of his students tried to match herself with Hashem. And she was like really blown away. And what happened? Wait, let me just see what happened here. Well, I don't have it now here in my notes. Oh, well, I can't find where I have it, but she was like, she kind of like almost left her body. It was so blown away. And she was like, wow, we don't really know what's going on in this world. Like, we just don't know it. She came to a whole different level, but this is too scary. Don't do that.
Okay.
Let's see, question. Did you say match the resonance in the end of Yom Kippur? Do you mean energetic state at that time? Yes, the spiritual state that we were in at the time of the end of Yom Kippur. I mean, not everyone wants to match themselves to that. There could be some people who are just lying in their bed, oh, I'm hungry, at the end of Yom Kippur. In that case, you don't want to match yourself with that. So you find something else you want to match yourself with. Okay, so included in this one-step matching of yourself with spiritual entities is matching yourself with the Uspizin, or like the 7 shepherds or the 7 lower Sefirot of emotional Sefirot. Like you can match yourself, and you have to always say that with the light of. In this case, I want to match myself with the light of the light of Chesed of Abraham. It's a one-step matching. I want to match I'm asking Hashem, please. On the Keshet Hatamat Titarim, I asked for matching a resonance between me, say your name, and the light of Chesed of Abraham. And then I'm going to do this quick. Then you can do the same with I match myself with the light of Gvura of Yitzchak. I match myself with the light of Tiferet of Yaakov. I match myself with the light of Netzach of Moshe. I match myself with the light of Hod of Aharon. And I asked Hashem to match the resonance between me and the light of Malchut of David. So these I did this really quick, also because of lack of time, and also because I have a course that's I believe the first course of healing with Sefirot, the Kabbalah and spiritual self-healing, which is healing with Sefirot, which when I really go in depth into what this means, what is Chesed, what's Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yisod, and Malchut, and how is it connected to each of those seven shepherdess. I go very much in depth with that in that course, and now is not the time for that. But those who know can use that as a simple matching. There's one last matching that's called group matching. And you can match like everybody, like if you're in a classroom, you want to match all the students in the classroom so that there's a good energy between them. And that is like a simple matching. I'm matching all the students in the classroom with all the students in the classroom. I'm asking Hashem to please match the resonance. But if it's one particular student and the rest of the classroom, it's not, I'm just using the example of classroom, but it's any group. It could be the family, it could be all the people around this Shabbos table. So it could be anything. Then if it's one person with the rest of the group, then it's a two-step matching. Let's say I want to match Anna with this virtual room. So I ask Hashem to match the Anna with the existence of this virtual room. And then I ask Hashem to match the existence of this virtual room. No, I'm sorry. I ask Hashem to match this virtual room with the existence of Anna, for example. Okay, so these are the four different ways of matching resonance. Any question about that? Any comment before we move on? I'm gonna just look through everyone and see if anyone is putting their hand up. Was that Bracha? Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. I love the Uspizin. It's just
spiritual self. Okay.
Yeah.
So anything else? Because I want to go on because I have a lot more to share. Okay. So now. So spiritual connection between people is really dependent on this resonance between them. Some people we feel instantly connected to, and it could be because of the resonance, and it can also, and this resonance could be good also because, this my teacher shared about people that date. And sometimes it can be very confusing when you date, if someone that's dating, and they feel like an instant attraction to someone that they're dating, but they know it won't work. They can't marry that person. So it's confusing. So why do they feel this attraction? So she explains this could also be related to something that happened in previous incarnations. They could have been married in previous incarnations, so they feel that even in this reincarnation. But in this reincarnation, they're not supposed to be married. They just, or sometimes there's a certain exchange that then a certain rectification they need to do with one another. maybe a certain forgiveness or something else that needs to happen. Once that happens, they're not supposed to have any more connection with one another in this lifetime. It could be something, that stemmed from another lifetime. Sometimes there's souls which are twin souls because they have a similar rectification to do in this world. Okay, so now we have a little more time to work with, to deal with allergies, okay? So allergies is also, when a person is allergic, there's a difference between sensitivity and allergy. What is the difference? Well, allergy is a reaction in the immune system. Like I just wrote it to someone actually on my blog. If you don't get my weekly blog and you want to, please let me know, because I spend many hours writing it. And I'd love to share with people who are interested. So in my blog, I'm writing this last time about garlic, actually, and it's mentioned in the Torah in this week's Parsha. And the person, she wrote me, one comment I got here was, you mentioned garlic allergy. As a good Jewish wife, I used to spice my Friday night salads and fish generously with garlic. In recent months, I found myself waking up with tummy aches after such a meal. It slowly occurred to me that garlic could be the culprit, especially since I did not suffer after eating at my daughter's, who doesn't use garlic. So she was concerned that she's allergic to garlic. So I just clarified that there's a difference between allergy and a sensitivity or an intolerance. What's the difference? When you have a food allergy, your immune system causes the reaction. But if you have a food sensitivity or tolerance, the reaction is triggered by a digestive system. So that's the difference here. And a lot of people have a sensitivity and intolerance. Most people don't have an allergy to garlic, for example. But whatever it is, whether it's an allergy or sensitivity, like allergy is things that, for example, there is hay fever is like an allergy. The immune system is attacking the pollen. And there are other people who have allergy to certain foods that cause the immune system to have a really strong reaction. Usually allergy is stronger than sensitivity and intolerance. But with that, we can also use what we learned about matching the resonance. So like someone who's allergic to something, it doesn't mean they have to stay allergic to that thing for the rest of their life. This is something that can be healed through spiritual healing and matching of resonance. So, but allergy also could be not only to food or sensitivity or whatever you want to call it. I guess there could be people who are allergic to other people, or maybe it's more like an intolerance rather than an allergy, I would say. Or a person can develop a very strong intolerance to a certain situation that calls up, some difficulty that they experienced in the past. And what else? Well, there was someone had an Arab working in her home, and she developed a skin eczema from standing in a home speaking with an Arab. Okay, this is not from me, this is from my teacher. Okay, this is what she shared. This is from people who live in Israel who had someone murdered, and so for some people that this happened to when they stand next to an Arab, this could bring back those traumas of that. Okay. There's always a spiritual component to any allergy. Even though it's a physical reaction and often it's a physical substance, not always, that a person is allergic to or is sensitive to. There's also a spiritual element. For example, my teacher brings a woman was allergic to corn. It turned out that in the past, she'd been working in a cornfield where there was a very negative social scene. And I guess there was not a good energy between the people working in the cornfield. So since then, she developed an allergy to corn. Every time she eats corn, it brings back that negative experience she had when she worked in the cornfield. And this is something that can be healed because it's not just physical, it has a spiritual aspect to it. When we gradually, after we work on this in treatment, she can gradually go back to eating corn. But like I'm giving an example of this person with corn, but it applies to every kind of allergy. Doesn't mean like after you do one treatment, then like eat your heart's desire of corn. I mean, start with just a little bit, just a little, a very, very little bit. Chew it really well, eat it really carefully, whatever food it is that you're allergic to. And there's no guarantee that this treatment that we're doing in Emunahealing can totally eliminate the allergy, but it can lessen it. It can reduce an allergy to a sensitivity, or it can reduce like a sensitivity to be even, less of a reaction. Okay, so I am going to I have something here in this envelope. Racha, you don't say anything to anyone because you have been here before. Well, I'm going to actually take it out of the envelope, I'm sure, and put it in my hand. I'm sure that it is easier to do this exercise when you are actually in the same room and not in a virtual room. But I've tried it before several times in a virtual room and it still works. It's just a little bit harder. So I'm going to ask everyone in this room to try to feel let's see, what question should we ask exactly? I'm going to ask, take in the energy of what I have in my hand and see if you could feel what it's doing to you. If it's good, you could also ask, is this good for me or is it not good for me? If you're good with getting answers yes or no, you can choose what you want to ask. And if you get no, then you can ask like what's not good, you can ask, well, what is it that's not good for me in this thing here that I have in my hand? I'm gonna not reveal it until after. You can either do that or you could just ask, take in the energy and feel, what does this energy of what I have in my hand do to you? Okay, so is this clear with everyone? Wait, on 1 second, I just want to see if there's anyone having their hand up. Anna, I believe that's an old hand. Okay, everyone is clear with the question? So we're gonna start that now, okay? I'm gonna give you like a little time to really tune into it and see what it does to you on your body. See if you can get to what it does to you. Okay, so you could do it longer when you do it on your own, but we have a little bit limited time today. Would anyone, Bach, I'm gonna ask you to wait, okay, because you know what's in there. Would anyone like to share? Those who don't have a mic, please write. What does it do to you? Okay. I would like any, Karen, yes?
It was interesting. When I started focusing in on it, the left side of my body got really heavy, and the right side kind of actually got lighter. There was definitely like some type of physiological reaction with a difference on the sides of my,
So it unbalanced you, in other words.
Yeah.
It caused an imbalance between the two sides.
Yes.
Okay, good. And Evgenia said it gives some hope. Okay. Other people, Jolie, what did you get? Anna, Alla? Anyone else got anything? You can write or you can add. Anna, do you want to say anything? You get anything? Evgenia, you can try again if you didn't get anything. Gonna open it slightly. Make it easy. Anna, what did you get? Anything, just whatever comes to you. Don't worry about it being right or wrong. Yes, there was homework last time, but we're not doing that now. We're doing a new thing. I'm going to give you new homework. Just say what comes to your mind. Jolie, just write anything. You're very intuitive. What is it doing to you? Ella, wave of energy in my legs from left to right. Also something with left and right. That's interesting. Interesting. What did you get? Yeah. What did you get, Jolie? What did you get, Ella? Hi. And then after everyone tries, I can let Bracha. You want a new vessel. Well, I'll send you a new vessel right now, Jolie. I'm sending you a new vessel to hold all the lights you have received. Now see if you can get something. Ella, what did you get? Anything. Don't be shy. Okay, so I can't wait any longer. I'm going to reveal what it is, but first I'm going to ask Bracha, and Bracha already knows it. What did you get?
I'm not sure, but at first I got crystal and then I got aromatherapy, so I wasn't 100% sure because I felt my breathing opened up. And then I got prayer. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, fine. You don't remember what it is. It sounds like you don't remember what it is. That's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I also know what it is. And it makes it harder to get the answer from Hashem. When you don't know what it is. Well, when we did it with my teacher, everybody got something negative. Every single person got something negative. So we didn't really have that strong, clear, everyone got something negative. I got headache and nausea, but in a group of about 10 people, everyone got something like that. And then my teacher said, how could it be? Everyone has something negative. She opened this thing up, and it is
Sugar.
artificial sugar. What do you call it in Hebrew?
Oh.
Sucrazit. I forget, what do you call that in
Sucrose. No, not sucrose.
saccharin.
Yeah. Saccharin. Yeah. No, I felt like a zip through my body, like zoop.
Right. So you were afraid to really say. Now that you know what it is, it's like, oh, I knew what I felt.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was though.
Right. You didn't know what it was. So
No.
So you thought you were supposed to feel something positive. So we have to. So you got movement. Okay.
Mhm.
Ella, I feel it was negative, but I thought I'm wrong. See, you did feel negative. Okay. Everybody got some kind of a movement. Like, so that's interesting. I guess that's what sugar, any kind of sugar, like gives like a false spurt of energy. That's like movement. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Even though we're in a virtual forum and not in the same actual physical room as the substance, we still uh, we're tuning in somewhat. Okay, but like it's most people actually have a sensitivity and an intolerance to this. It's like a very unhealthy, just like even more unhealthy than sugar. You know, it's low calorie sweetener. Okay, so that people use instead of sugar, but to not gain too much weight. But we have a lot of other natural sugar substitutes that are much healthier than that.
That's hooked up, by the way, to a lot of, they're finding now, my husband's will give you that, that's hooked up to a lot of memory loss, it's just, that stuff is horrible. Shouldn't even be allowed to be sold.
I only have this one in the house for the class. That's it. We don't have it in the house. Yeah, I think it could be connected to not good for the brain. That's what you're saying.
Hmm.
So just to talk about sugar for a second, since I have a stevia plant in my porch, and when you take a leaf of that plant, I'm sure that's not calories, and you put it, you could sweeten things with that. I mean, honey and dates and all those good stuff, it does have calories. What can you do? But stevia, the way it comes, it's a plant. It's like a leaf. It's like a green leaf that doesn't have calories. What do you write? Everyone got movement, right to left, imbalance, the extreme opposite of natural, it's poison, right? This is poison. Okay, very good. Okay, so so that so I want to teach you. I think we can also go back to that one more. No, I want to first make sure that I have time to give you the spiritual homework. So you have to remember what's the spiritual homework that you need to do. Okay, and so um, do a treatment of someone else according to the and this in this treatment includes checking and treating the person for allergies. Check and see if they're allergic to this and this and this. And also including a treatment and a matching of resonance between the person and someone else that that they have a difficulty with. And the truth is, I'm going to end with a little story about Rav Mordechai Eliyahu. One time, someone folded a piece of paper into two and wrote his sha'alah, his question, on one and tore the two sides apart. And by mistake, he gave the rabbi the empty paper. Right? He wrote it on a piece of paper, then it was a small question. He didn't want to give such a big paper, so he tore the paper into two, and he wanted to give him the one he asked the question, but by mistake, he gave the blank paper to the Rav. The Rav made believe that he was reading from the empty paper so that he wouldn't embarrass the person who asked it. After some seconds, the Rav writes his answer on the empty paper. The person saw that by mistake he gave the Rav the empty paper, and he wondered how the rabbi could answer, something, a question that was in his pocket. And then his son, the son of Rav Mordechai Eliyahu's son, Rav Shmuel Eliyahu, witnessed the episode, and he asked his father, "How do you know the answer to the question that you never received?" And the rabbi answered that the person who wrote the question was very agitated and wrote so hard that the imprints of his writing were visible on the empty side of the paper. But even so, many rabbis are very spiritual, intuitive, and they can feel the question of the person even if they don't get it directly. And there's other stories about Rav Mordechai Eliyahu. There's like a whole book about that, about stories about him that was written after he passed away. And there was a story about a woman that was pregnant who went to him, and because the doctors had said there's like some problems with your fetus, with your unborn baby, and the Rav said no, the fetus is 100% healthy. And the worried woman just kept asking, "Are you sure? Because maybe the doctors are right, maybe the doctors are right." Then the Rav knocked hard on the table and said, almost in an angry way, and repeated the third time, "There is no problem." And then the woman calmed down, and indeed the baby was born healthy. And okay. And sometimes to heal oneself, one needs to give a lot of tzedakah. One needs to make a sacrifice. There's a story about a woman who was very sick with the sickness, and she decided she wants to get rid of all her fancy clothes. She was very into clothes, and that would be a sacrifice. So she thought, I'm making a burnt offering. So she burned all her clothes. and actually she got better because she did get better, even though I personally believe you don't have to waste to do a sacrifice today. But she felt like I guess she wanted to just burn it to Hashem. Because if you give it to someone, like they will be grateful and you get a benefit from it. She didn't want any benefit, but you could give it anonymously to someone. You could give it to like a used clothing store, etc. In Denmark, they have a used clothing store that people give to. That actually whatever money they get in the clothing store goes to actually to help cancer patients heal, for their treatment. So in any case, sometimes we have to like give something up that's very dear to us for the sake of changing it. It changes also our resonance, and it helps us then through that sacrifice to get forgiveness from God, to get healing from whatever ailment we go through. And so okay, so we're about to be finished now, and I want to bless everyone with a wonderful, wonderful week. And yeah, please let me know if you're not getting our weekly email and you'd like to get it. And also, I wrote you in an email that I give you a few weeks notice since we now entered the month of June. And I know in 3 weeks' time, on the 24th of June, I have a wedding of a student that I want to cancel. Also because I cannot go to the whole wedding because my father passed away this year. But I am allowed to go to the chuppah, and this is
May his neshama have an aliyah.
amen. And it's a very close student, so I'm planning to go to the chuppah, and I will be able to come back and give the class at 1 hour later than usually. That's on it. I wrote it, and please put it in your calendar. It's also in the email you got with a notice about this meeting, that it's 1 hour later. So in America, well, in New York time, at Eastern time, it will be at 1 instead of at noon, until from 1 to 3 instead of from noon to 2. So I hope that's okay with everyone. Is there anyone in here that it's not okay with? And Jolie, it will be a little late for us in Israel. It's also late for me, but what can I do? I don't want to cancel it. So it sounds like it's okay for everyone. So I'm going to end the meeting now. Please put in your calendar so there won't be confusion. I will write it again. I will write it again in, when it's for the invitation of that particular class. It will be clear that it's going to be 1 hour later. Okay, I'm sending you all a lot of love and light, and have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Thank you.
Forward to seeing you next time. We're going to work more on allergies, and then we're going to move into relationship therapy, more on that. Be well. Bye.
Bye. Say hi to the chickens.
Okay, I will. Bye-bye.